Look up at the moon tonight. Now imagine it switches off, not behind a cloud, not during an eclipse. It is simply gone. About 1.3 seconds later, its gravity disappears too. The sky changes instantly. The oceans do not. And that difference is where the real story begins. First, one rule. We are making the moon vanish cleanly. No explosión, no debris, no giant impact headed toward Earth. That could never happen in real physics, but it lets us ask a sharper question. What does the moon actually do for you every day? Here is the first surprise. Earth does not fly away from the sun. You do not become lighter. Buildings stay upright, and the oceans remain held down by Earth's gravity. The moon tugs on our planet, but the sun controls Earth's orbit. Removing the moon shifts a small orbital wobble. It does not eject the planet. Within minutes, observatories point at an empty patch of sky. Telescopes that were tracking craters see background stars instead. Lunar spacecraft lose the body they were orbiting and continue along new, dangerous paths. Mission control rooms begin calculating trajectories. But your phone still has GPS because those satellites orbit Earth, not the moon. Outside, the night feels wrong. A full moon can cast shadows and brighten an entire landscape. Now, every night has the natural darkness of a moonless night. Cities barely notice under streetlights. Rural roads, mountains, deserts, and open oceans notice immediately. Human eyes adjust, but the familiar silver landmark never rises. Now watch the coast. A harbor has a predicted high tide coming. The water still moves because an ocean has momentum and tides behave like enormous, slow waves. But the lunar force that helped shape that prediction is gone. The next rise arrives weaker, mistimed, or distorted by the basin around it. There is no single global splash. Every coastline answers differently. Why are there any tides at all? Because the sun also stretches Earth's oceans. NOAA estimates the sun's tide-raising effect at roughly half the moon's. So the sea does not freeze at one level. Solar tides continue, along with winds, storms, currents, and waves. What disappears is the dominant lunar rhythm that coastal life and human schedules were built around. By the next tide cycle, ports are treating their tide tables as unreliable. Shallow channels may have less water than expected. Ferries alter schedules. Fishing crews watch unfamiliar currents. A tidal power station sees its predictable flow weaken. None of this ends global shipping in one day, but creates a dangerous information problem. Yesterday's forecast describes a world that no longer exists. For wildlife, the first night is not an instant extinction event. It is a broken signal. Some dung beetles use patterns in polarized moonlight to travel straight. Many predators and prey change when and where they move under bright lunar skies. Those animals still have stars, scent, sound, and instinct, but one cue has vanished without warning. The deeper biological damage starts at the shore. Intertidal creatures are adapted to repeated flooding and exposure. Corals can use the lunar light cycle as part of the timing system for synchronized spawning. When the light cue and the strongest tide cycle disappear together, reproduction, feeding, and competition can drift out of sync. That unfolds across seasons, not before breakfast. At hour 6, social media is full of fake explanations. Governments cannot hide the empty sky, so observatories release the same result. The moon is not dark, it is absent. Markets react to uncertainty. Space agencies account for lunar assets. Coastal authorities issue local warnings. The emergency is real, but the viral claim that a wall of water is circling Earth is not. At hour 12, another myth collapses. Earth's day is still about 24 hours. The moon normally raises tides that very slowly break Earth's rotation and push the moon outward by about 3.8 centimeters each year. Without the moon, that dominant braking process largely ends. But a change measured over centuries does not suddenly spin your clock faster tonight. Solar tides still apply a smaller break. There is also no instant climate flip. The moon helps stabilize Earth's axial wobble, which has kept our tilt within a narrow range. Without it, the tilt could vary more over very long periods. But modern simulations add an important warning. The outcome depends on the planet's starting conditions, and extreme swings are not guaranteed. This is a problem for thousands to billions of years, not tomorrow's weather forecast. Some losses are immediate and permanent. There will be no lunar phases, no lunar eclipses, and no solar eclipse caused by the moon crossing the sun-lunar calendars lose their physical reference. Navigation traditions, festivals, poetry, and the basic way humans mark months all become records of an object that used to exist. By hour 24, Earth is not an apocalyptic wasteland. Most people still have gravity, electricity, satellites, work, and morning traffic. The real first-day crisis is scientific confusion, lost lunar missions, darker nights, and coastlines entering an unpredictable transition. The truly enormous consequences have only started their clocks. Over years, marine ecosystems adapt or decline. Over centuries, the length of day trend changes. Over geological time, Earth's tilt and climate face a new range of possibilities. So if the moon vanished tonight, the first thing you would lose is light. The next thing would be rhythm. And in the long run, rhythm may be the part our planet depended on most.